Hi, this is Greg in Pensacola, Florida. I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Tonight is part 2 of our Modular in with Hirst molds. So a 1 week has gone by. I'm happy to say I'm done with all the casting for this molds. We've done the 6 casts of molds 58 and 59. We've done 16 casts of mold 57 and 28 casts of molds 221, 75, and 701. Just a second, I'll pick up the camera, kind of give you just a overhead view of all the blocks that are cast, and then we'll go over casting, any difficulties I ran into on any of the molds while casting them, and then we'll look forward to this week and see what we're going to work on, and that'll give you an idea of what will be coming up in the part 3 video. So like I said, it's been 1 week. We made it through all 28 casts with those 3 big molds. Having that dehydrator has made all the difference in the world. I was kind of looking back on my descent videos, and while you cast those many more times, there's no way I had this type of speed. Being able to sit down at night, cast 5-6 sets of all the molds, stick them in a dehydrator, go to bed, wake up the next morning, pop them out, throw them in an organizer, and just rinse, repeat each night when I come home. No time at all. Never felt rushed this week to try and I have to have this done by Sunday. Yeah, it was pretty casual. When Sunday hit yesterday, I had only 4 more casts of the 701, 75, and 221 to do. So it was pretty light. I got some other molds for demoldings that I did also. So it actually was a pretty relaxed week. So I'm going to pick up the camera here for a second, and I'll try and bring it over to top. And basically what we got is these are big cheese boxes of mold 701, 75, and 221. So that one's about ready to spill out the top. And then right here, this is mold 701. And then in this container here is your mold 57, 58, 59, and spillover of mold 701. So this thing is packed full also. So this is all the blocks that are needed to do this project, and maybe a little bit more. I think I cast molds 58 and 59 instead of 7 times. I believe I did. Instead of 6 times, I believe I casted them 7 times. So give me 1 second. I'll be right back, and we'll talk about the molds. Here we got mold 701. This is your basic, your fieldstone mold on there. There was no problem at all casting this mold. I don't know how many times I've cast this particular mold right here. Just not in this project, but for other casting things that I've worked on. 70, 80, 100. This mold looks as good as it did the day it came out of the box. That's another reason I love casting with this dental plaster versus resin or anything like that. It's not going to wreck your molds. Sure, you can take some of these casts and make your own molds, and I would recommend that if you're going to do any resin casting. Don't use your original molds to do that. The 701, these are the blocks that came out of there. Fantastic. There's simple, no vibration table needed on anything like this. It's really easy setup, real forgiving mold to work on. The next mold is mold 75. This is your ruined fieldstone block mold. Again, super forgiving mold. I had no problems at all. I think on all 28 casts, I didn't break a single block coming out of this mold. So again, it was easy to pour. As soon as the top of it started turning a little bit white on the back, I was able to pop the pieces right out. And again, the quality coming out of the mold, it's fantastic. The floor mold, this is mold 221. You got some different types of blocks, floor mold blocks that come out of here. And these that I'm showing you are from last night. So this is 28 casts in, and they're still coming out with this basically perfect quality. Super easy to cast. If you get a good scrape on there, your backs will be nice and smooth. They'll all set up fine when they go together. It takes very little product. This actually, I played like an overflow mold. I would cast 2 molds, And the ratio I was using 285 grams to 3 ounces of water. And depending on what combination I was doing, I'd have enough in the cup to actually fill this mold or one other mold on there. But again, fantastic mold. Really looking forward to using on this. So again, that was mold 221. Mold 57. Now we start getting into a little bit trickier molds. This is the in-building accessories mold. Not a bad mold. I remember the very first cast I did with this, and this is probably why I did 7 castings of the in molds. Got a little impatient, went to pop these up here on the corner, and they'll break right here at this line. From that point on, gave it a few extra casts. I didn't have any trouble at all. The quality of the stuff that came out of this mold was fantastic. It looked good. Hardly any bubbles or anything in there. So really good mold. We did this one 16 times. So it's got a lot of pieces in it. It's going to have a lot of the stair pieces. It's got the benches over here. It's got the supports, some more angle pieces for the stairs. So we'll use this one quite a bit. Not a bad mold. Not quite as forgiving as the Fieldstone, but as long as you keep a watch on your times, from that point, after that first time, because the way it started out, I'd laugh at myself and said, okay, we're going to start like this. I'm going to bust a piece on the very first demolding. From that point on, it was fine. So watch these 2 pieces right here in the corner. Everything else is pretty good, because if these pop out fine, these over here will pop out fine, and everything else just comes right out with no problem at all. Mold 58, common in accessories. Talked about this one during the demolding, but if you haven't watched that video, this piece right here is the most critical piece on this mold. Everything else goes in and comes out very easy, but this is super shallow. If you look at this door, at the detail on this door, just how thin this window is, because you can pop this window out. I could score right around the edge right here, and this window would pop right out. So there is not a lot of room between here and the top of the mold. If you pull this mold early, if you try to demold it too soon, you will bust this door right here across that line. Every single time. I think I broke 2 doors on here, and then finally I said, all right, I usually cast 6 molds at a time. This was always the last mold, and this was always the first piece I took out, because I wanted to just lift the corner up here, and just kind of rock it out, because there's a lot of suction on the inside of this little hatch in this doorway on here. Once you get that out, if this comes out, everything else is fine on here. These deep ones, they pop out just fine. This barrel over here, no trouble at all. This piece right here is the top of a barrel that's right here. So that's probably the only other tricky piece to come out. So you just want to be mindful of what's coming out of this spot, because you can break that in half. But that's only if you're looking for a lid, and then right here is this piece. This is a great looking piece. This is your hobbit door, vault door, and stuff like that. So I show all those in the demolding video. So that is mold number 58. And then our last mold for the project is mold 59. This is the unique in accessories mold. This is the mold that has the awesome looking cabinets, and then this mold also has the beds. So if you didn't watch the demolding videos, this bed comes out right here. So the only piece that's really tricky on this mold to get out is the bed, and that's because of that headboard. You want to push up from the outside of this mold to get this headboard to lift up. Then you can pull the rest of that bed out. If you try and bring it up from this side first, it's going to rock and it's going to crack the headboard right in half. I'd casted this mold before we started this project for somebody else. They wanted some of this furniture out of here. So I learned that pretty quick. You have to demold it from this side. You have to push up with your finger from the bottom to get it to lift, that headboard to lift, then you're fine. And then this is just a huge chunk of plaster. That's this piece right here. And everything else is pretty good. You get tons of books, you get bottles, you get that row of bottles that goes on the shelf, you get the fire logs over here that have the fire on them already, you get the open book, another chest. We love our chests, and just some other pieces that we're going to use in the project. So this will be like an opening to a stove that we're going to make. I know we're going to use some of the smaller bricks, and we're going to make a oven, and above it, that door hatch is going to go. Some single bottles for the tables, lots of bowls. Here's some bowls with the fruit in it. So great mold. You got a plaque right here you can put something on. Again, my demolding video will show what each thing came out of here, but probably the biggest thing on this mold is you watch the bed, because you don't want to cast this mold, pop the bed, and break it, because then you're like, the two huge pieces that this mold gives you is that bed and that cabinet right here. I mean, everything else is just gravy, but these two pieces and the chest over here, you can use them in every room on this end, so, and all the bedrooms and stuff. So really good mold. So let me move this stuff aside. We'll come back to the building instructions, and we'll look forward to what we got to do this week. So here we are, the assembly page. So basically, these are the rooms that we're going to build during this project. We've already did the casting that it talks about over here, the 28 times 3, the 16, and the 2 6s of the molds. And so if you look, we're going to have some large rooms. We're going to have hallways, stairs, end blockers, and stuff like that. So, but it looks like the first thing I'm going to need to do is take that mold 75 box. That one that was just overflowing was the second box that I scanned over earlier. And we're going to need to divide up the pieces. The ruined blocks, the ruined arches, the ruined floor tiles, and then start getting the duplicate rocks and putting them together. Because what we need to make is the arches. We got some floor tiles. And so basically, we need to do all this right here. What we need to glue together. We need to glue together the floor castings, and then we can start building the great room. So this week, we're going to get this stuff sorted on mold 75. We're going to get these pieces together, and then we're going to see what type of progress we can make on this great room on here. So I'm looking forward to seeing how far we get along. I'll probably pick up paint next weekend on it, because there's like 5 cans of paint in here. These paint colors I will use them over and over and over again on different projects. So I'm going to go buy quarts of them. I just haven't decided whether I'm going to go down and get the Valspar or just go to Walmart and get their brand. But we're going to see how much progress we can make on this in by Sunday. And here's where we start building the office. So I don't know why not all the graphics are coming through on here tonight, but this is where we're going. So if you're following along, if you go to Bruce's page, you click on the Modular In project, you hit page 2. We're going to get mold 75 broken up, get it sorted, get the pieces together that we need, and then we're going to start building this great room. And then I'll maybe record a little bit midweek, see how we're doing, put it together with a weekend video showing where we ended up, seeing how we're doing on target, and continue on from there. We may be far enough along that I start moving right into the office. But I think between the great room and the office is probably as far as we'll get along this week. Which, in the grand scheme of things, we're 1 week in, we got everything cast, and we're already at the build stage. So I'm pretty happy how things are going, and really appreciate you guys following along. And I got one more little bonus thing to share with you. This is mold 274. This is the steel bridge mold. When I was doing the castings, because I only needed 6 casts of those first 2 molds, when I pulled out 58 and 59, I slid in this mold right here and started casting along in addition to the in molds at the same time. So I was doing all the in molds, and then like a bonus mold, I was doing this. And so what ended up happening is I ended up with 1 bag full of castings of the bridge and a second bag full of castings of all the bridge pieces. So we are already 22 casts in for the bridge project. So kind of worked ahead. It gives me a little bit of a buffer room when we get to that project, so that way when I roll into it, I'm not throwing plaster all out over again. We can roll right into another build, and I may do that with the Gothic Dungeon too. The Gothic Dungeon is going to be a monster project, so not sure if that'll come right after the bridge. I may do some smaller stuff on there, but we'll see. We'll just play it by ear and see how it goes. But I was really happy to be casting mold 274, and that's that steel bridge mold. And again, if you go to Bruce's page, if you go to the project section, you can look at what we're going to be working on with this. So I kind of want to build the bridge so it has a use in War Machine, kind of like a footbridge on there, so versus more than a huge, I know Bruce has his way up in the air, kind of like a World War II type bridge. We don't normally elevate our terrain that high, but I do want to elevate it some so it can get over rivers and things like that. But I think we're going to purpose the bridge project so I can use that piece of terrain on a War Machine board. So again, thank you for sticking in there tonight. I appreciate you watching my videos. Please like the videos. Please share the videos. It's help because you're already helping when you like these videos, because I'm starting to pick up more subscribers. Subscribers that left a long time ago are now finding out I'm re-recording again, so they're starting to come back. So I thank you for doing that. I really appreciate you guys being here. This has been fun. I'm looking forward to starting to put this stuff together, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.